guys, welcome back to another video. Lots to talk about today. We will start off here talking about Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, JRPGs on Xbox. Do gamers on Xbox buy these games? There's a big controversy or discussion going around this weekend about that. And plus some other cool things here, like an update from Bethesda and what they think about Starfield. As we know, Starfield has been very divisive. The main game also shattered space, so I want to give my thoughts on that, plus other things. But if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, and check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster was one of the biggest announcements that Xbox had at the Tokyo Game Show. It was finally launching on the Xbox, which is a great thing. It gives access to that game on that platform for people who until now haven't been able to play it if they only own an Xbox. It was already out on PlayStation, it was out on Nintendo, and the question has to come after they make that announcement is, does it really matter to Xbox gamers? Do they want to play this game? That's one of the questions that people have been discussing, and now we have some stats here showing that yes, Xbox gamers play JRPGs, they want them. If you give them access to it, they will go out and purchase them. Now specifically, this was at, like I said, the Tokyo Game Show, so they were trying to appeal to that market, and it has paid off very well for them in that market. It is the top paid game here for Xbox Japan on the Xbox Store. And you can see that that's what they wanted. They wanted people to get excited about a game that Xbox is publishing on their platform, and then have Japanese gamers jump into Xbox, play it, potentially explore what other options are out there, and just go into the ecosystem. Give them the content that they want to play. Now, the other question you have to ask is, it makes sense that it is good in Japan, but how well is this doing in the US and other parts of the world? Well, specifically here, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, they say here, has made its way to the 12th top paid game on the Xbox Store for the US, which I think is very good. I think that is a pretty good number here that may continue to climb as more people see it on the store, more people want to jump in, where they hear from word of mouth from their friends of how good of a collection this is. Because if you haven't played Final Fantasy 1 to 6, I haven't played them all, this is probably the best way to check it out with this Pixel Remaster. So I think the question is, do Xbox gamers want these games and will they pay to play them? And the answer generally, I would say, is yes. We're seeing it here with the numbers. And this brings into question this tweet here, which absolutely blew up with another game that I think Xbox did very good here to get the marketing rights for, that will sell well too, and that is Metaphor ReFantazio. This is from Mighty Keef, who is a YouTuber, does like comedy skits on console wars and fanboys and stuff like that. And he puts this tweet out: Atlas is terrible at marketing. They should have never let Xbox have the rights to advertising. JRPGs do not sell well over there. I still got people telling me they thought Metaphor was an Xbox exclusive. Get this game when it comes out, man. It is fire. And I will agree with one thing in this tweet. Absolutely go get this game, or at least try the demo out, because it is really fun. If you like Atlas, you like JRPGs, you will enjoy this game. Really cool. The story so far has been good. The combat has been really fun. So I am enjoying myself with Metaphor ReFantazio. What I don't agree with is that Atlas is terrible at marketing. I actually think what they've done here by going with Xbox to market this thing is paying off, especially if people are just inquiring about the game and asking, is this game on PlayStation? Just looking into Metaphor because they're seeing everybody talk about it and play it, and they're seeing the advertising with Xbox. I think they're doing a very good job. Not only is this working for Xbox because people are seeing it on Xbox mainly and then trying to see if it's out on other platforms, it is just getting people to go and do a 30-second, 10-second, 15-second Google search and look this game up and see if it's on the platform that they do want to play. So marketing in that sense, I think, is working very well. And this actually goes, it's funny because you have always just conflicting narratives here when it comes to Xbox and doing things like this. You have people saying they don't do enough of it. They don't get enough marketing for JRPGs. How do they expect to grow with that genre? How do they expect to grow in Japan? And then when they do it, you have this type of stuff that people always go up and discuss and say, well, it doesn't sell well there, so why would they even choose to market with Xbox? Which clearly is not the case. We've seen JRPGs sell on Xbox when people have access to it. But I think this is just an interesting discussion to have, and it will be very interesting to see how well Metaphor does sell when it does release. But as of right now, I would say the marketing is working across the board because people are talking about this game. And even if they're wondering if it is on Xbox, it literally, like I said, takes a 10-second Google search for them to type in the name and see it's on the platform of their choice. So for Metaphor and for Atlas, it's working for them because they'll probably end up going purchasing the game on whatever platform that they do play. I think this was overall a pretty bad take. A lot of people jumped on it. It got like 1 million views. And you can see here him defending himself and saying it was an attack towards Xbox, which, hey, it may have not been. I just think overall it is an incorrect take on the marketing of this game. But let's jump over here and let's talk about Silent Hill 2, because Silent Hill 2 is dropped and it is doing very, very well. The remake for Silent Hill, it is actually currently the number 4 top selling game on Steam globally with a 95% overwhelmingly positive review for this game. So if you're looking to get back into this game, people have been waiting for this remake for a while. Now is the time, and apparently it is very, very good. I've actually never played the Silent Hill series. I've never been huge into these games. I'm more of the Resident Evil as my horror genre game. That's the one I always gravitate towards. I've never actually played these Silent Hill games, but right now, very good reviews. And of course, this is a console exclusive to the PlayStation 5. So if you're on Xbox, you're either going to get this on PC or you're going to wait until probably a year or so from now until it does release on Xbox. But it is looking very good. They've actually done some performance stuff, which is another interesting, some performance reviews here for this game. And it does seem like Unreal Engine 5 is taxing on these systems. On the PS5, they were showing the frame rates drop. And you can kind of look back to Hellblade 2, which was a UE5 game built from the ground up, and how that was at 30 frames per second on the console. You have to ask, going forward, will UE5 games have trouble maintaining a performance 60 FPS mode on the current Series X and the PlayStation 5? And how will the PS5 Pro come in to kind of alleviate those pains with that engine for the console? All questions to definitely look forward to as we move through these last number of years here for this generation. Okay, let's talk Starfield and Shattered Space and just the game itself. I find this one pretty interesting because Shattered Space and Starfield is very divisive, but this is no different than the original game when it first came out. It was very divisive, and you can attribute some of this stuff to console wars, absolutely, because you will have PlayStation guys shitting on this game no matter what, and if it does release on PlayStation, they will start loving this game. But there's also Bethesda fans, major Bethesda fans, that don't like this game. There's half that love it, half that don't love it. It is very divisive. And then when it comes to Shattered Space, you're kind of seeing the same thing here. You're seeing it get really low review scores. It's sitting at a 58 on Metacritic, which is extremely low. And you're seeing some people say it's great, and then other people saying that it is shitty. And you have people trying to say that's only because of console wars and all this stuff, which, again, I do not fully believe. And now you have the Bethesda director defending Starfield, saying it is right next to Fallout and Elder Scrolls. Now, I finished Shattered Space. Last time we talked about this, I hadn't finished it. I had played maybe 3 to 4 hours, but I've gone through, I've done exploration, I've done some side quests, and I finished the main campaign, and I've landed on it. It is just okay to me. It isn't great. It isn't terrible. It is okay. If you like Starfield, you'll probably get some enjoyment out of it, but it's a pretty lackluster DLC in my opinion, and specifically because of the main quest side of things. It is very short. It's about 5 hours, and the actual quests and story themselves isn't top-notch Bethesda stuff in my opinion. So I can absolutely see here why Bethesda fans don't like it, or some Bethesda fans don't like it, and then why some people do enjoy it, because the exploration side of things does give you enjoyment into the consequences, the RPG mechanics, and all of that stuff. But again, an okay DLC, and I hope for the next one they really do improve on the overall meat of the main story and main narrative in the game. So this is, however, what Emil Pagliarulo has to say, sitting down with Games Radar on what he thinks about Starfield and kind of what is going on, basically why it is so divisive. He says, it exists in a unique space. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. What is? We created a new IP from the ground up and an experience that is absolutely unique on consoles. And I'm not saying Starfield is better or worse than any other game, just different in what we offer, that weird Bethesda blend of immersion, action, and RPG. And I will agree, definitely a weird Bethesda blend in this game. If you do the exploration, you go through and you just try to experience the world that they have created, there is some really great stuff in it. But it is, you can tell right from the get-go of this game, it wasn't everybody's cup of tea as to what they were expecting from Starfield. I like the base game. I think it is a great RPG. It is very immersive when you do the exploration. But with Shattered Space, I would definitely hope that they continue to improve on the DLC going forward into the next one. My biggest question here is, will there be some revisionist history in the next 5, 10, 15 years down the road on this game? Will it be looked on more fondly for more people who initially did bash Starfield at the very start? Probably if they didn't give it enough time, didn't jump into enough, all that stuff could happen, because there is definitely a game here that is expansive. And if you do take the time to explore it, you do get lost in the world of Starfield. All right. If you like Halo, this is some really cool news here. They have announced that a third person mode is going to be coming in November, which looks awesome and makes a ton of sense. Kind of reminds me of when Call of Duty put out their third person multiplayer mode. Halo makes sense as you get turrets, you're in third person, you're driving vehicles, you're in third person. It's just a nice coat of paint, nice fresh coat of paint that will bring people back into the game. And just another addition to, in my opinion, one of the best Halo games right now that we've ever gotten, like gameplay wise and even content now. It is absolutely phenomenal. One of the things that annoys me the most is Halo fans, or just people who like to still shit on this game and think that it is where it was when it first launched, or 6 months after launch when they weren't able to keep up with the content. I would say Halo Infinite is the best playing Halo game, and with all the content that they continue to add, is going to go down as one of the better multiplayer experiences that we have gotten in this series. And I'm excited to jump into this third person mode when it does eventually launch. All right, jumping over here, let's talk about something that I'm actually very excited about, and I hope that this is true, but it could be affected because of the delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows. But that is Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the remake. We've been hearing rumors about this game for a while now, and my first thought was that it's a ways off, but it looks like it could actually be closer than we think. It says here, in fact, prior to the recent Assassin's Creed Shadows delay, which is understood to have affected the Assassin's Creed pipeline of content releases, which is something we talked about last week on the show, that Assassin's Creed Shadows is a big delay, but it doesn't just affect the game, that game itself. There's a huge universe of AC stuff that is coming out that Ubisoft is working on, and I think all of that gets affected and pushed back somewhat before Assassin's Creed Shadow does come out. So there will be far-reaching effects besides just the game itself. And they do say here that the Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, codename Obsidian, was to be released around November 2025, which should be around the same time the series multiplayer offering, codename Invictus, is to be released. So that is closer than I would have expected this game to be coming out. I figured there were other games like Assassin's Creed Hex or something that would be coming out as the 2025 release. I am expecting just a smaller project versus the massive open world games that they do release with like Odyssey and Origins and Valhalla, and then now Shadows coming out in 2025. But I would absolutely love it to be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And maybe now, because of the Shadows delay, it may be pushed off until early 2026, but still closer than I thought it was going to be when they first started seeing the rumors of this game pop up. There's so many games in the works around Assassin's Creed. There's about 10, they say, titles of various lengths and experiences to be released in the next 5 years. And then this includes Assassin's Creed codename Jade, which is the fully fledged mobile offering. I think Ubisoft is in a spot now where we're going to see them continuously double and triple down on the Assassin's Creed franchise. They took risks in recent years. People think that they are continuously just releasing the same things, which is just not true. Take a look at a game like Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is a really, really cool game. Did not sell well. Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, did not sell well. You saw them put out a game like Avatar, which is an open world game, but it was a completely different experience compared to the checklist style of things, with a lot more exploration to do within that game. Didn't do as well, I think, as they would have expected. You take a look at Star Wars Outlaws, again, open world, but definitely a different take in the more exploration side of things. They made those changes to the open world that people had been complaining about for a long time with Ubisoft, which was just tons of stuff on the map always, and then the checklist of things to do. And it only sold 1 million copies in its first month, which they would have expected more for a game like Star Wars and with that IP. So I think Ubisoft is at this point where people want them to put different things out, but they may even go in the opposite direction and become what Activision previously was, which was basically focusing on that one game that they're guaranteed to sell a ton of, and that is Assassin's Creed. And you're seeing them here with those 10 games in the next 5 years. I think Assassin's Creed Shadows will sell well. I could be wrong. I see people in the comments all the time telling me that it's dead and all this stuff because of the whole culture wars, but I honestly think that is blown way out of proportion in terms of what the reality is. We were hearing that the pre-orders for Shadows was good, even though they've refunded them all. I think when it does come out in February, it will be a successful launch for Ubisoft, which will further incentivize them to just continue double and triple down on this franchise. And finally, to end things off here, Palworld is now going to be released on the PS5 in Japan, where previously they had decided to not release it in that region when they had announced the game was coming to the PlayStation 5. And you'd have to guess it is because of the Nintendo lawsuit that is going on right now. They didn't specify that was the reason, but that was a lot of the speculation. But I guess now that speculation can kind of go away as Palworld does come out here and say that you can actually go get the PS5 version of Palworld on the PlayStation Store in Japan. So they are continuing to forge ahead, continue to work on the game, update it, all of that stuff with the impending lawsuit from Nintendo, which we don't know what the results will be, but Nintendo is very good at winning these things. And if they do win this one, how will this affect the game? How will it affect the future of the game? And how will it affect Pocket Pair to be able to go out and make new content after that? It will be very interesting to see what happens in that case. But I'll end the video here, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. We'll be right back.